continue to get down whatever this new system is going to be under Gus. It will be the Gus bus, I guess. I'm just wondering y'all's take on what this offense could potentially look like with some of the skill players that they have and that young talent that we saw a lot of this season that we weren't expected to see, but we did see signs that there is something to build around this if you can bring in a good offensive line coach and a good unit there.
Well, I don't think it necessarily is going to look worlds different from what we've seen under Mike Norvell. There are going to be some tweaks, there are going to be some adjustments, but really, when you look at the offense that Mike Norvell runs, a lot of it is predicated off what he learned when he was under Malzahn, and there's a lot of the same formations and terminology and things of that nature. So I don't think it's some major switch up necessarily for Florida State, but at the same time, you get someone who's very familiar with Mike Norvell. Those two offensive minds will see what they're able to scheme up, but they've both been able to produce top college offenses over the years, and they've proven themselves at multiple spots. And obviously, we kind of mentioned it before, but the running game, and that's something that Florida State has it's prided itself on over the years. This season, ugly on the ground, and I think with Malzahn coming in, they're going to get back to that football that we saw in 2022 and 2023 when they were really successful with Trey Benson and Lawrence Toafili and having that dynamic guy in the backfield. And then, like you said, quarterback wise, they're going to want a dual threat out there, someone who's mobile. I think Brock and Luke both fit into that mold of what they would want back there. Malzahn, if you look at what he did at UCF, 3 straight years to end off his tenure there, they had a quarterback with 400 plus yards on the ground. And, I do think that those guys are capable of it in the right offense. We'll see if he's able to bring that to that room. But like you said, I do think that they're probably going to look for a veteran to bring in and kind of have another bridge year to let those guys continue to grow and develop.
Well, I know we're planning on talking about him later, but Thomas Castellano started his career at UCF playing quarterback for Gus Malzahn. And if we're going to believe that reported interest, that would make a lot of sense. And Castellanos kind of fits that Nick Marshall kind of vibe where he's not the greatest passer, but man, is he electric on the ground. Didn't really see it that much this year at Boston College because Bill O'Brien went to that pro-style offense that just didn't really fit Castellanos, but that would definitely fit what Malzahn wants to do. I'm not the biggest Castellanos fan, but if they brought him in to play quarterback for Gus's offense, we already know Gus has had an interest in him. Just given that he recruited him to be a quarterback, whereas Florida State wanted him to be a receiver. So there is at least some connections there, but I agree. They're going to have to bring in some quarterback to bridge this gap. They're going to have to probably bring in 5 new starting offensive linemen at the very least 3 or 4. A lot of it's just going to depend on the coaching hires and the players they bring in as far as what the offense is going to look like.
I was going to say, and I wonder too, maybe just a good developmental offensive line coach could change a lot of things that you already have in your room and actually could develop some of those younger talent that you saw at the high school level and you thought that would show signs of being potential starters in their second or third years. Maybe it's as simple as that, ladies and gentlemen. That'd be a good idea. I think there's enough guys, just if we're going to go outside the offensive line, let's say things go well there. Just outside of that, there's a lot of talent there in that wide receiver room and tight end room, and most certainly that running back room. And we're going to talk about a guy that just flipped a top 5 running back here in just a few, that just flipped from Georgia over to Florida State, adding into that backfield. And then what you saw from some of those younger guys. Do what?
Pending.
I know it's pending, but let's just say things stick unless we deal with another Travis Hunter incident, which who knows? It could happen again, and things might have seemed too good going on today. But anyways, still, Florida State has a lot of younger talent there that Gus can utilize moving forward. I think there's a lot of things to like, and I we didn't even get to see Destin Hill this season. You hope to see some better growth there from guys like Hakeem Williams, and to me, it was about time to start flushing out some of those veterans that weren't really proving much to you on a week-to-week basis that are moving on from this program now that you get to look at guys like Elijah Moore, BJ Gibson, LeMay McCoy, Camden Fryer. There's things to work with for Gus going into 2025 and further.
Yeah, I don't think the cupboard is bare by any means. There's definitely some talent, some potential across Florida State's roster, and now it's up to Gus Malzahn and this new offensive coaching staff to really unlock that, because we didn't see it this year. Some guys took a step back. There were some guys that took a step forward, but offensively, it was a very hanky-janky type of year for Florida State. I mean, nothing worked. Nothing they tried to adjust worked. Didn't look like the offense had any chemistry out there. So, I don't think that there's a very high bar for these guys coming in to flip this back in the right direction.